Hello, perfect angels of the super race. Today's topic is casting out what God casted out. Lesson 617.
Let's go to Colossians chapter 2. Colossians chapter 2, verse 10 and 11 says, "And you are complete in him, who is the head of all principality and power." It says that we are complete in him, right? And what does complete mean? That we need nothing. Talking about the Spirit, we cannot add anything else to you, because if we add something else, then you are greater than God. You are complete in him. That means that your spirit has the same qualities as he has. Jesus Christ, which is God, is holy. Well, your spirit, which is a God, is also holy. You are clean. You are perfect in your spirit. And since you are so perfect, complete, and clean, you are without a spot or blemish. You have no contamination. Your spirit is just like Jesus Christ, because every seed gives forth fruit of its own genre. If you sow a mango tree and the mango gives forth fruit, later you cannot tell them apart. If you take a picture of the mango that you took the seed to sow, then you have more mangoes. You will see that they are alike, because the seed gave forth fruit by its genre. So then when God created spirits, created angels, he created them just like him. The thing is that when he put flesh on us, there was changes. There was a deterioration in our knowledge. Therefore, that's why Paul said that we are complete in him, spiritually speaking. Now, verse 11 gives you information that's why you cannot see yourself perfect if you do not understand verse 11. 2:11 says, "In him you were also circumcised with the circumcision made without hands, by putting off the body of the sins of the flesh by the circumcision of Christ." Notice that the Bible says, the gospel says, that Christ suffered only one time and he took sin out of the way. Did he take it out of the way? Yes or no? If it says that he suffered once and he took it out of the way, yes, the prophet said that when Christ would come to the cross, he would take sin from the earth in one day. That means that sin was taken away, but the body of the sins of the flesh stayed on. But what happens is that since the body of the sins of the flesh is still part of us, well, God casted it out. The problem is that you and I have to learn how to cast it out. Now, how can we cast it out? If you live by the law, you will never be able to cast it out, because you will always see it. But if you live in grace, you cast it out with your mind. Hello. That's why Paul said, now we serve God with our mind, because with our mind, you empower yourself of the written information. And when your body does one of those works that hurts you, that brings you guiltiness, that tell you that you do not qualify, that makes you feel that you shouldn't go to church, that makes you feel when we are singing, all my life is in you. Well, that body of the sins of the flesh tells you you're a hypocrite. How can you sing that all your life is in him? Well, that body of sin speaks. But if you know how to cast it out with your mind, when your body of the sins of the flesh comes and accuses you, well, you already know that God casted it out. You, thinking like God, imitating God with your mind, you say, don't accuse me. Don't accuse me that I am okay with God. I am a perfect being that have battles, but I am perfect. And like that, you cannot have consciousness of sin. Now, look what it says in Hebrews chapter 10. Quickly, Hebrews chapter 10. "For the law, having a shadow of the good things to come, and not the very image of the things, can never, with hello, can never, with these same sacrifices which they offer continually year by year, make those who approach perfect, because the law could never perfect anyone. So then, we have to develop a discernment, an internal discernment, to be able to understand that God casted out the body of the sins of the flesh. And you have to grow and mature to learn how to do it. Look what it says in Romans 8:10. Let's go to Romans chapter 8, verse 10. It says in verse 10, and if Christ is in you, the body of the sins of the flesh is dead because of sin, but the spirit is life because of righteousness. In other words, you have a dead body. According to God, it's dead because it's impeccable. In other words, it can no longer hurt your deposit. It's a body that's dead. But since your spirit is inside of the body without the spirit cannot live. So then, temporarily, you have clothing that has life. It's an animal. And then it wants to hurt you. It wants to steal the beauty that's inside of you. You know how beautiful you are? You're perfect. Imagine a perfect being. How are you going to be? Beautiful. But the clothing that you have dims your personality too much. And when your personality is dimmed, you look ugly. You look ugly. Well, let's stand and tell the person next to you, we cast out the body of the sins of the flesh. It's out. It's out.
We conclude that the children of grace have been taught with the gospel of uncircumcision. We cast out what God casted out, the body of sins of the flesh, thanks to our Father, Jose Luis de Jesus Miranda. Thanks to his science, the gospel of grace, today we live confessing that we are healed, complete, have organized thoughts, and we don't live by the law. We love you, Daddy.
With the mark on my mind and body, I will be redressed. With burning flames, emitting energy with the body, it's no fantasy. Because